Thanks for coming by again. Just want to thank everyone for all the support, all the likes and comments, and everyone who came by and watched my last video. It was the best one that I've put out by far and the best result by far. So thanks again, everyone. And I still want to make it a goal by the end of the week to hit 30 subscribers. We got 3 more to go. So if anyone's just passing by, really appreciate it if you'd consider subscribing. So we'll move on to sports now. So last night, the Los Angeles Dodgers finally win the World Series. Their first World Series since the 80s, 1986 I believe, and their first win in 3 tries in the last few years. So everything pretty much that had to happen for the Dodgers happened, and they showed why they're the super powerhouse team that they are. And there were a lot of factors that got this win done and got the series finished and won the World Series for them. So we're going to get into that. So again, in the preview that I did yesterday, Blake Snell was the starter for the Rays, and there was some controversy with him, and Tony Gonsolin started for the Dodgers, and obviously huge favor in that pitching matchup went to Snell, as I mentioned. So, as per usual, Randy Arozarena hits a home run. That was his 10th of the postseason, and he continued to set his record. Quickly in the first inning, got the Rays out to a 1-0 lead. And it was looking early like they had Gonsolin out of the game, and he didn't stay long. He got replaced pretty quick. So what I said yesterday was that he had to come in and get those outs, and he didn't, so he had a very, very short leash. I think he had a short one anyways, but as soon as you give up a first inning home run off the first few batters, you're definitely going to be pulled from that game, especially in a game where you're trying to close it out in the World Series. So, Blake Snell was absolutely dominant in the first few innings of this game. He was striking out everybody, and there's a lot of controversy with that. So, obviously, if everyone watched last night, he went on, and his line by the end of his appearance was only 73 pitches, giving up 2 hits and 9 strikeouts. And he gave up 1 hit after that, and that was enough to get him pulled. And a lot of people around baseball, including most notably was Noah Syndergaard, who was watching as a pitcher for the Mets, he actually asked, when can you pull the manager? Because a lot of people think that that was one of the worst decisions in World Series history, was to pull Blake Snell out after he was dominating and he wasn't walking anyone. His curveball was looking amazing. He was confident with high fastball strikeouts, but still Kevin Cash opted to take him out, and after that, Betts got a hit immediately. So I know they wanted the right-hander out there against Betts, but I think you have to go with the hot hand, because now you're sitting there and you've lost the World Series thinking, what if we left Snell in? And easily he could have got to 100 pitches because he was being very efficient, and you would have expected maybe 10, 13 strikeouts by that point. But they put Anderson in, and yeah, like I said, he immediately gives up that hit. Betts with an amazing slide, showing off his athleticism, and he went right on the contact as it happened. And Mookie Betts is the absolute X factor, in my opinion, to the reason why the Dodgers won the World Series. He was the missing piece to the puzzle. He was that confident player that can show up in big games. And I think he knew going into this game there was no way that they were going to come back for a Game 7. After that hit that he got, and then him advancing on that wild pitch, he knew. He was like, we're ending this game today. It was a wild pitch, but it was also a very blockable ball by Mike Zunino, who is a defensive catcher, and he's known for his defense. So kind of a bad spot to come up and make that mistake in Game 6 when you're trying to force Game 7. And I don't think they're going to change their catching or anything much next year, but Zunino should have had that, because he, especially when you're up against guys who, he catches Blake Snell all the time, and it wasn't Snell's pitch that was wild. He wasn't even the pitcher, but it's that he tells the pitchers that they can spike it in the dirt, and he will catch it, and he will block it. So that was a big reason why that 2-1 lead happened. And it wasn't insurmountable, but it was just a huge blow to their confidence, and especially with the limited fans allowed now that were allowed in the stadium in Texas. You have like Dodgers fans cheering them on, and it wasn't just imported sound, like I said, but that was the energy that the Dodgers needed. They needed to have everyone behind them, and their team was behind them, and they were ready to get this done. And I think as the outs started winding down, and they saw that this was actually like an achievable thing, they were not letting anything happen but a victory. It was just they had absolute determination in their eyes, and they knew they were ending the Rays. Before the game, they said that Julio Urias wasn't going to be available late, and in an elimination game, especially when you can close the series out and the World Series, making it the last game of the season, I think they don't look at how many days rest the pitchers have had. They ask if they are ready and willing to pitch, and I think Urias definitely was, and he got 2 innings worth at the end and ultimately closed it out. But right after he came in and finished his 8th inning of work, Betts hit his own home run there, and it made it 3-1, which, how good the Dodgers were playing, made it just that much more insurmountable. And Julio Urias got the save and struck him out, and that ended it, and Dodgers are World Series champions. I've never seen a Dodgers World Series win, but I imagine that their fans have been so frustrated over the years. Like, I've seen the devastating losses that they've had, and it's very similar to the Washington Nationals, how many they had super teams and were expected to go deep and expected to be World Series champions, or at least the favorites, and they came up so short. And that isn't anything against their seasons when they went to the World Series, but they just looked overmatched in those years when they appeared in the World Series. And even when they went to like a Game 7, they didn't look like they were even there to win it. The story that came out immediately after they won the World Series was that Justin Turner, who was pulled from the game, they didn't give a reason right away though, but it turned out that the test results, so the tests that they do on the players every few days, he had an inconclusive test. And they, however they do it, they ran it again, and then it ended up coming back positive. So, however he was exposed it hasn't been clear yet, and they don't know what his contact was with someone who was positive, and it brings up a lot of questions of who else is positive in the clubhouse on either team, because he was in such close proximity, no mask and everything, with like the catcher and the umpire and everyone who was on the team. Nothing is normal about this year, and I don't know why anyone expected that there wouldn't be a twist or a turn that would make nothing normal about this World Series win. But Turner, he will get a chance to enjoy this. He was the guy that I picked for the Dodgers, again, that had to show up, and he did in the biggest way possible for this team. He's one of the players that came over from the New York Mets that they let go and thought really nothing of him, and the Dodgers picked him up and formed him back into what they thought he could be. And that was a similar story with Max Muncy, who was playing in AAA for the Oakland A's, and they got him and they brought him over and they made him such a valuable piece, and they're both stars. They'll be able to enjoy this World Series. I think just the grind that they had all together, the journey that they went on, the year in general, getting spring training postponed and canceled, and the season being up in the air, and being away from their family for as long as they have, now they're going to get a chance. If I could pick one player that I'm very happy that he got this World Series title, I think a lot of you would agree, is Clayton Kershaw. He has been the blame child of the Dodgers for a long time, and him getting this World Series title and him having a very good game and win in the World Series this year this will just make him and solidify him as one of the best pitchers ever. And it doesn't matter what his numbers are or anything. I personally could look at a person and say they're one of the best players I've ever seen, or pitchers, but it's that title. It's did he win a championship and how many? And that's sad how it is in sports, but when you watch them and you see how they compared year to year, you know that that title matters that much more because their performances in those title runs mattered. And this is very similar in most similar in baseball, or pardon me, basketball. Like LeBron James, they always question his performances and question how many rings he has or is going to have. Awesome for all those players. They deserve it so much. And I don't even think this is going to be the last one because all these players are going to come back next year, be the same players. They're all dependable. You know what you're going to get out of them. And Mookie Betts, I am so excited to see what he's going to do in a full season, if we get a full season next year. I just want to see him go on an absolute tear. He's in the conversation, in my opinion, for the best player in the league right now. It is Mike Trout, and I think Mookie's number 2, but right now, career-wise, I think Betts has passed him accolades-wise. And that's obvious because of the World Series, but it's just put him on that level of, if he retired today, would you be talking about him being one of the best? And if it was because of an injury or something, I still think he would be in that conversation. And I think when it's all said and done, he's going to have a couple championships more, and he is going to be in the conversation for one of the best players of all time. It's an absolute privilege to be able to watch him. And I hope the same for Mike Trout gets some playoff time, and we can actually see him win something with the Angels one day. And it's sad to see that he can't get to the playoffs with the Angels. He only has one playoff series. It's nice to see that Mookie was developed properly and brought into a great system in Boston, and he became the opportunity to succeed with Los Angeles. So, amazing for the Dodgers. An amazing run for the Tampa Bay Rays. Blue Jays got beat by them, obviously, and just to know that they were the team that pushed the Dodgers to almost the brink, that's... Like, the Rays are going to be probably winning the AL East again next year. If not, if the Yankees can stay healthy, I think it could be their division, but they're always very streaky. The Rays, I think, will find a way again. All right, so that wraps up baseball for the year, games-wise, but I'm not done with baseball, not by any stretch. I'm going to be doing a lot more baseball content, I'm going to be starting basketball content now since this is all over. I just need you guys to give me some more suggestions. Tell me what you guys want to see, any of those 3 sports, baseball, hockey, basketball, and I'll be more than happy to cover some of that. Couple things on the NHL before we wrap this up. Hayden Fleury gets a 2-year extension with the Carolina Hurricanes on a $1.3 million average contract. He's a really good defenseman. I think he's going to be great for Carolina, even though they lost Justin Falk, and I still think they saw Hayden Fleury, and they thought that he's going to be a good part of their future. Tyler Bertuzzi, he gets a 1-year, $3.5 million contract awarded through an arbitrator. I think 3.5 is pretty good for him, and it's a prove-yourself year, once again, like I've said about other players, but I think he's going to have a great year for Detroit. If this is a year where they're going to take a developmental step, he needs to be a big part of that. I think he can be. Good 1-year contract, bet on yourself. And the last piece of NHL stuff, the Dallas Stars just released their blackout jerseys. It'll be really cool to see the Dallas Stars rocking those jerseys next year. The blackout, it's interesting. It'd be cool to see if some other teams will get it, because Tampa Bay did it. But if you guys haven't seen the Dallas Stars jerseys, go check them out, because it's a really interesting look. And maybe it's just a shock factor. It's because the Dallas Stars have had a history of some pretty questionable jerseys, and but maybe we'll get used to it. Maybe I'll pick one up. All right, so again, thanks everyone for coming by, subscribing, and supporting me early on in this journey, and I've had so much fun covering when I picked up and started YouTube on the playoffs, and it was really fun every day getting to talk about baseball, and I cannot wait to do it when the basketball season starts up, hopefully Christmas Day, and the NHL season in the new year. But I will be doing content every day still. I will be making videos. I want to put a lot of work into them. I'm working on my editing, and like yesterday I was kind of messing around with the stuff with Duke to watch. I hope that this is the beginning of something really fun and great that I can do and you guys can enjoy. Again, leave a comment. I appreciate all the ones I'm getting for good job and everything, and I read all of them, and I see all the likes. But if you have any suggestions If you're the first one there, you'll be the first one considered, and I would be more than happy to do the research and put together something great for you. So, again, if you're just passing by, please consider subscribing. Trying to hit 30 subscribers by the end of the week. Appreciate every one of you, all the views and all the likes, all the support. I hope you guys had a great time watching this game. I hope you guys look forward to the basketball season. I hope you guys have a great night, a great day, and you guys enjoy your week, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Roberts. And strike three. Dodgers have won it all.